सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। गोबिंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। गोबिंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So next in the Salok, Kavi Maharaj is explaining that Atma is one form only. There is no duality in it. It is equally present in those vastu that are jad, that do not move from one place to another, such as the trees or the plants, and those that move from one location to another for nutrition, such as animals or humans. Just like how a mala is formed by putting one thread into the beads, same way Atma is that thread. And all the forms, the bodies, are like the beads of 8.4 million life forms. And when Atma is not in any form, then it is in Sona Samadhi. It's still present, but without any form. There is no second thing like Atma. Like how two people can be from different castes, one can be Brahmin, one can be from another caste, but there is no one else like Atma. It's unbreakable and without any caste. It is the knower of itself. There is no change there. It does not split into two or more. It can't be broken. And if we look at this body, we have a nose, two hands, 2 feet. There is variation between how this body looks. But Atma has no variation in it. Maharaj in Gurbani explains as well that it has no eyes of itself, but all the eyes are of Atma only. It doesn't have any form, but all the forms are of Atma. So how can this Atma be known since it's not an object of senses? As it's without any form or color. So how can one know about this? If the Atma wants to give Gyan of itself to itself, then this Gyan happens. So it happens with if only the Atma wants to know itself. Sat Chit Anand is its root. This root can only be known through physical form after having a body. If the Atma doesn't create the world, then it is just present in itself and there is no khel happening. But when the world is formed, then all the 8.4 million life forms are its khel. It's the Atma only speaking, listening, and doing everything. It's talking to itself, it's listening to itself, and performing all the actions. So if Atma does kirpa in such a way to know itself, then it can be known. Maharaj in Gurbani says as well, Appe jane aap. This kirpa happens through Guru, because Guru himself is the Sat Chit Anand. Guru is the Atam Sarup itself. So if a Guru does kirpa on Sikh, then he uplifts the Sikh from the qualities of Sato, Rajo, and Tamo Gun, and make the Sikh as an observer, as his own Sarup. Thus, in such a way, Atma is known through Atma. Further, Maharaj explains that this physical body's nature is changeable, it's always changing. Atma created this day in such a way that it will get destroyed. It is chanchal. Chanchal means that which has change in it. So let's take an example of the physical body. When the child was in mother's womb, even at that point, he had consciousness in him. It was because of consciousness that the body was moving. Then the child takes birth, he comes out of the womb and performs actions as he grows old. Those actions are because of the consciousness. Then, when he eventually gets old and comes closer to death, then in that state as well, he wishes to see his family. The body grows old, but the consciousness remains the same. It doesn't grow or get old. There is no birth or death in that. That's why it's called achal. There is no change in it. It is anant. Anant is whose end cannot be known. We can know about the five elements too, but we cannot know when they were formed. We don't have any gyan of this. But because of Brahma Gyan, these elements get destroyed. When one gets Gyan of Atma, then due to this Gyan, one rises above the physical body, meaning they stop considering themselves as the physical body. In that way, the illusion is removed. So it's known that at very first, Akal Purakh had a thought to take many forms from one form. And that thought wasn't like a normal thought how we get. Now to ask the question that why did Maharaj had this thought is pointless. Because the answer lies in the experience itself. When one gets the Anubhav Prakash, then the answer naturally comes to them. There is no point of using our intellect because this is something that cannot be captured with the intellect itself. So it is best to accept what the Gyanis Mahapurukh have said. They have informed from their experience. When someone knows about this answer, they do not share it further about their secret as well. The moment Akal Purakh had this thought of taking many forms, that very instant Maya was formed. Then first, in this order, space was created, then air, fire, water, and then earth. Then Atma created 8.4 million forms through Maya with these five elements. In these forms, it created those things that remain still. They don't walk around, they don't move from their location, and those that do move around. The same consciousness is in both the things. And those who move around from one place to another have been called as Jeev. The same consciousness is present in everyone, even if those things remain still or they move around. Now, it is explained through example, analogy here of a house and a clay pot. So the space element is present before the house was created as well. And in that same space element, in that house, a pot was created. The space element that's present within the house is present in the pot as well, and outside as well. And when that house or the pot, it breaks or gets destroyed, the space element still remains. Same way consciousness was present before this physical body was formed. It's still present while this body is there, and it will remain even if when it get destroyed. It will get destroyed, but the consciousness will remain after the body is destroyed as well. The Atma is Ananta. Its end cannot be known. One can become still in Atmavastha, due to which the Maya comes to an end. And that happens because of the Gyan. Maya is there only as long as there is Agyanta. In Gyan, there is no Maya. But the end of consciousness itself cannot be known. It is present in all the forms. Its beginning or end cannot be known. The reason is because anything that to understand the beginning or end of something, the concept of time is required. It can only happen in time. But Atma is beyond time. Therefore, its beginning or end cannot be known. Maharaj further explains through another analogy that if someone wants to find an object in the room, then by using the light from a lamp, we can find that thing. So you light a lamp, you take that lamp into a room, and we can find that object. But if someone wants to find the lamp itself, and they have ignited the lamp, then there is no need to look at the lamp because it's visible by its own light. Same way, the sun doesn't need another sun to have a look at itself. The sun has its own light to do so. In the exact way, Atma has its own Prakash. It illuminates itself and everyone. And by that same Prakash, it knows itself as well. When someone begins to walk on the Adhyatam marg, at first they get a desire to have darshan of Maharaj in this day. And they keep having this desire of darshan. Like Maharaj, when will Maharaj give me the darshan? Due to this desire, he performs various jap, tap, and many births are spent doing so. After so many births of doing the jap, tap, he collects the gyan through those births. Then in one of the life forms, he gets the fruit of that gyan. That way, in one of the janam, he joins Sadh Sangat, he does Nam Abhyas. And with Nam Abhyas, he slowly starts to realize of his Sarup. Then he starts having thoughts that the Atma you wanted to have darshan of in Guru Roop is within you. It's not outside somewhere. The Guru you were looking for is already within you. Then he starts reciting very closely to the Atma. At this point, he still has the Jipav in him. The G part remains until the home is present. This home gives him sukh because he's staying very close to the Guru, to the Sad Sangat. But here the home has become the medicine. Maharaj says, home dirag rog hai, daru pees mahe. That's how it becomes the medicine. Because the realization is happening because of home. Then slowly and eventually the Jiva vanishes and all that remains is Atma. Kaviji says that we get knowledge of the objects through the eyes. But has anyone seen their own eyes with those eyes itself? We either look at them through the reflection of the mirror or water or someone else informs us about the eyes, but we never see our eyes through those eyes itself. All the objects on the earth, they are visible due to the light of the sun. But the sun gives light to itself. It doesn't need another source of light. The very nature of fire is heat. Maharaj explains through example of fire. Now the heat itself is called the fire. You will never say the fire gets hot or cold. That quality of heat itself is called the fire. Same way, Atma illuminates itself. And Satchit Anand is its Sarup. And its Sarup is not different to itself. All the Shakti are its Sarup. And they are no different to Atma. Shiv Shakti is one. Next, Maharaj explains through stone analogy. So if someone does nindya of stone, if they say many harsh words, rude words to a stone, it doesn't get affected by it, nor it says anything in response. No matter whatever someone says to the stone, it doesn't give any response. It doesn't waver. Same way, Atma has no vikar in it. And by definition, vikar means that which changes. Either there is an increase in it or decrease in it. That's why Maharaj has explained about the Panchavikar, because they're always changing. One day you feel krodh, one day you feel ankar, one day you feel there is always fluctuation happening there. One day you're shant, one day there is krodh. There is always emotional roller coaster happening. That is the nature of the vikas. Maharaj says, but Atma has no vikar. It doesn't waver, just like that stone, like a huge mountain. Maharaj says, contemplate this really well in your intellect. Like have a vichar, sit and have a vichar of this in your buddhi. Further, Maharaj explains that just like how a clay pot is formed from clay, and that clay was present even before the formation of the pot. And when the potter was making the clay pot, the same clay was present even at that time. And when the pot gets destroyed, the same clay remains. The structure changed, but the clay remained the same. Mara says, know this in the same way that when the physical body was not present, Atma was still present. And when the body was formed from the Brahm Tat, even then the Brahm is present. And when we will leave this body, even then the same Brahm will remain. However, you can tell the formation and end of the pot, like when it was created, when it was formed, or when it will get destroyed. But the Atma is in, it doesn't, it's in non-duality, it's not in duality. You can only know about something when there are two of it. There is no second thing that can look at Atma and know it. Ape jane aap, it knows itself. Its beginning or end cannot be known because it's beyond time. And also, there needs to be a second thing to know its end or beginning. That's why it's called beyond birth. Atma is a kriya. So it doesn't perform any actions, but it makes the body perform the actions. It's because of the Atma that the body moves. Now, how to understand this? Maharaj explains that if you bring a lamp into a room, and because of the brightness of the lamp, people become happy that there is light in the room, and then they get engaged in different activities. With that same light in the room, an example of gambler is given that the gambler does gambling as well. The activities start happening after the light. Same way, activities are happening because of the Atma. But it doesn't perform itself, it doesn't perform any actions of its by itself. It's just present and the activities happen. Another example is of electricity, that when an electricity moves through a light bulb, it eliminates that, it ignites that. But when it moves through the fan starts blowing, wind, air. But the electricity itself is not doing anything. It's just the source of providing how the actions are happening. But it's the action is happening based on the form of the fan itself. In the next Salok, Maharaj explains here intellect is being compared to a prostitute. Now Maharaj says just how like a prostitute dances, not because of her own desire, but because of the power of money. The same way the intellect dances due to the Shakti of Atma. This body is known as the Nagar, the region, and Ankar is its Raja. And to give contentment to Ankar, the intellect dances. The senses that are present in the form of the body, they are like the instruments. They play and generate, they produce music, then the intellect dances, and the Ankar Rupi Raja, it finds contentment in that. But in this Nagar of the body, Atma is Rajan Raj. It's the Raja of everything. This Atma is Prakashman. It gives light. And under this light, the Ankar Rupi Raja feels Anand as the intellect dances with the sound of the actions performed by the senses. But all this is happening because of the Prakash of Atma, because of the consciousness. Maharaj explains about Sheshnag. Now, it is said that every day Sheshnag is always reciting thousands of new names of Paramatma. But this one Sheshnag is sitting in one universe, one Brahman. And he's reciting all these names, but the Paramatma has multi universes. So in that each universe, Sheshnag is reciting countless of new names of Maharaj. Kavi Maharaj says that the one Paramatma, which is one root, is Akal Purakh, and everything is happening due to his Shakti. No matter how many times one keeps reciting his thousands of names, but until the Atma, with its own kirpa, it does not give gyan to itself, then one cannot get the gyan. The Maharaj says, that's why know this Atma, that it is Sat Chit Anand. It is Sat, it is the truth, there is no change in it, it remains forever, it's constant, it's Chit, it is aware, it's conscious, and Anand, it's never ending. By doing this abhyas, its Sarup can be known. And it is complete in itself. It gives lights to itself. It is called as Par Brahm. Brahm is that which is present in Sansar, and beyond Sansar is Par Brahm. Now, both Brahm and Par Brahm is Atma only. It's called Par Brahm because when it becomes as the observer, in that observation, when it has become in that as an observer, it no longer plays. And it stays still in the Chotha Pad, the fourth stage of the observer. Maharaj says, know this Atma in this way. Maharaj says this is how the 12 qualities of Atma have been described. And Veds have explained them in this way as well. So Maharaj has given the Tat Gyan from all the Char Vedas as well. And Maharaj gives the Upadesh that just how this Atma has been explained through these qualities, know yourself to be in this way only. Don't consider yourself and Atma to be separate. If Jeev does abhyas of Atmavastha in this way and let go of the Jeev bhav, that there is a separate identity, one is Jeev, one is Paramatma, and I am the doer, then in this way, when he lets go of that Jeev Pavana, then the Jeev will become still in Atmavastha. So, Maharaj Kirpa, may we get this chance to do more abhyas in our Jivan and follow the Gurmat, what Guru has been telling us. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ